Here's my server guide on Pearl. We're going to start on defense and we'll talk about the macro stuff first, and then I'm going to talk about A site. So first of all, when I'm playing Sova on Pearl, I'm generally not going to be playing towards mid that much unless my teammates are going to be making plays that I can help from mid. That either means like I play art and then I throw a dart through the window for my A players, or I'm going to do a dart from here for mid for my door players and that kind of stuff, or maybe my art players, that kind of stuff. For the most part, if I'm not doing any of that, then I'm going to be playing towards the sites. And I'm not going to be playing like a hard anchor type role. I'm going to be playing as more like a supplement type role, where I can help reveal people when they come out, and just generally try and get kills on the execute. And sometimes you can play a kind of pseudo anchor on A through dugout, but it is difficult to do and can be punished very easily. So I wouldn't really necessarily call it an anchor. So first we're going to talk about A. And on A, one of the main things about Sova on this map, and honestly in general in solo queue, until you get to like higher, maybe even higher ranks, but even then, ideally you kind of want to save your dart a lot of the time, is to save your dart early on in the round. And the reason why you do this is because generally in solo queue, it's a lot faster. People are going to give away their position a lot earlier into the round. And for the most part, obviously there's going to be rounds where it makes sense to use your dart early. But for the most part, using your dart early is going to be detrimental, because this dart can convert to kills quite easily, especially in a map like Pearl, where it's quite open. People rely on smokes to cut off the vision, and there's decent wall bangs from like dugout, so there's decent ways to use this dart when they execute. So I'd like to save it for that execute. If you do want an early dart for A though, you can just go into this corner and aim here, on this like corner of the brick, and then 2 bar, or like 1. People say 1 bar there, but I say 2 bar. There you go. They should reveal everything early. But I don't really like doing that one that much. I do it sometimes, but very, very infrequently. If you want a different one as well for A main, sorry, for A main, just full charge at this wall, and it should get everything here. You want to make sure it's actually at this wall as well, and not like over by the flowers or anything, because it's much more important to get like this full length of like the main area than it is to put it here, because sometimes people can actually dodge it if you do it too far this way. You want to be careful of that. They can dodge it by just going aggressive, and then your teammates wonder what's happening here, because someone's got a timing then like past the dart. So you need to make sure it is on this wall. Just a quick side note. The other recon as well that you can do, which are more towards the way I like to play, which is like when they execute. Right here. That's when you'll be wanting to reveal them. This one is pretty good. A lot of people don't expect it, and it should be 3 wall bangs. And there's obviously majority of these, like these ones you can do, all of these you can do, like as long as it lands in a place that will detect people, it doesn't really matter. You can also play over here, because this will usually get smoked, or sometimes this will get smoked and you can't play here, which is difficult, because you kind of rely on someone like a cage on like a cipher cage to like go up here for you to actually get these wall bangs. So you want to be careful. You want to make sure you know who you're playing with. Or maybe if you play like an Astra, you can also have like a smoke here, ask for a smoke right here or something. Or if you know that they only play for a front site, then the enemy team will probably just smoke this anyway. And yeah, and the same goes for over here as well. You can do the same over here, because this gets smoked or this gets smoked, and you can spray through those. And also over here as well, if you're playing art, then you can place it here. This gets smoked, and you can get wall bangs wherever you need to. Oh, not wall bangs, like kill through smoke, and from the reveals. Next is the drone, and with the drone, a lot of the time, once again, it's very much about the execute. You can use it in places like mid doors to help your teammates execute. Sorry, not execute, to make a play in mid. But when you're not doing that, you either are going to save it for retake, or you're going to be using it when they actually execute onto the site. So if Jet is coming out onto a site, for instance, she dashes and smokes. If you catch her with the drone and reveal her, she's probably dead, right, in this site for the most part, because it's very, very open. If someone else is here covering any other angle, one of you two are most likely going to be able to kill her. If you're on this angle and they're on that angle, it's going to cover everything. So she's probably going to die, right? And there's like very, very few blind spots for that Jet to go to. And that also goes for like quite a few maps as well. The way I'm talking about Pearl eyesight right now with like the recon and the drone, you can do this on so many other sites throughout the game, throughout the maps. And I recommend that you do it in solo queue a lot more than maybe you're perhaps doing now. Because the early recons don't do a whole lot. Next is shocks. And I don't really have any like particular shocks. There is one that I can talk about as well, which is you go over to this corner and you want to aim at this corner here with this part of the hood. And you want a 3-bar like this. And you can see it goes all the way over here. And this should break any traps there. You can also bounce it once as well. And to break the other trap as well. That usually goes there. So you can see it bounces and goes to here. And it should break the shock that goes like directly from here. Like this. And this one breaks all the ones that can potentially be placed on this wall like this. Like it ends here. Or get placed on the wall and end here. Like it should break all of them. That lineup you can use for both, like all the variants of the shocks. So all the variants of the trips. You just have to choose the right one for what trips they're placing, and that's it. Otherwise, with the shocks, it's very like I would say improvised, I guess, which is like one of the most important skills on Sova, where you're just going to try and get like chip damage on people by putting the shocks in good positions that can potentially do some damage. Basically, yeah, like that type of stuff can always work. Obviously, you don't have to do it quite like that. You can do it in different ways too. It's just whatever is relevant for you to potentially get chip damage, and also making sure that you don't die when you get your shock dart out as well. Make sure like no one's super close to you when you're shock darting. Give you a grenade when they're close. And that should be it for A. So I'm going to talk about the retake now. And on the retake, a lot of the time I usually go through flowers because I like this dart from here. It sees a lot, right? You can also get it right on the corner. If you get it right on the corner, then it also detects people in this corner as well, as you can see. I think you just saw a very small glimpse of it. But yeah, it gets people on the corner as well. So it's a really strong dart that I like doing. And generally, it's a lot easier from flowers to do. Yeah, that's kind of the dart I do. You can also drone from like this angle. This is also a very common drone for me. Just to help to see what we're up against basically on the site. And I've got no particular shocks. You can just shock however you want. And I've got no particular like recons other than this one. So you can do deeper recons as well, if you need to. Your ult as well. I haven't really talked about ult yet, but I don't really have any like setups for ult. You can use ult to like delay the plant as well if you're not on the site. So if you're gonna be going to post plant A and you're playing B, then you can ult the post plant. Make sure as well on the map you'll see me do this, where I'm gonna swing the ult into the place I want to ult, right? So if I ult again, I want to hit this area, so I'm going to swing my ult into it instead of actually just ulting like this. Because it makes it a lot harder for the enemy team to dodge, because if my ult ends, like if I stop swiping as it goes off, it means that it's going to hit like people, and I didn't even realize it was going to hit them, because it only starts to like notify them that they're going to get hit basically like the second or the 0.5 seconds before, or even less, 0.2 seconds before it actually get hit. So make sure you like swing your ult around when you're using it. It can take a bit of practice to get used to it, and to like know like how much you can actually swing from the place you're actually trying to get to. But yeah, all that stuff is really, really important to Sova. And that's kind of it for the A retake. There's not like, retakes are really, really situational overall. Like it depends on like who's alive, what ults you have, where are you, and like, it depends on so many different factors. A lot of the time though, you aren't coming through art, really. I would say that Sova doesn't really like to go through art unless you are playing art already. In which case, you might be playing a retake from here, because then might be able to get the plant down quite fast, and you are playing a retake from here. And then that kind of like the same thing sort of applies as well as talking about with the other recon, where you're just kind of reconning this. And there's not really a great drone you can do. This is really risky because any light flank will kill you, so you want to be careful of that as well. But yeah, that's pretty much the retakes. That's pretty much A site in general. So from art, I already talked about this start. You don't even actually have to be like past the barrier. You can just like line it up from the barrier as well. And other than that, there's not really much else. You can do a dart like this, which reveals like this like shop area, and it also does reveal people in mid too. And that's pretty much all I've got from art. Otherwise, it's just a drone from here usually, and that's it. That's it. I might use shocks very, very on the fly. So I might use shocks as well to like sway people from coming into art and that kind of stuff, and to just generally get some pressure. That's it. Next is B-Link. B-Link, don't really play very often. When I do play it, it's usually because I'm playing towards B and I want to play in this sort of angle. And I might just so happen to be looking over here sometimes. I don't really ever play like this connector role, generally, on Sova. You can do drones for your team at the start, from door. And there's also a dart you can do for mid over here. Where you do I think it's this. So this corner with the diamonds like this. It's a 2-bar. And it should land there. Or here. Detects mid. It's really easy. And that's pretty much all I've got for B-Link. Don't really have, once again, not really any particular shocks. It's about the chip damage. And also, I don't really have an ult. But something that is interesting about, if not exactly playing here, but if the enemy team are going here and you're playing art, if you do have someone defending you, this is actually a really nice ult. You have a good line, natural line here. But you do need someone to be defending you from art. You can't just like do this open, because obviously it's super easy for someone just to be lurking art already. If they have already taken mid, it's very easy for someone to be here and then rush you. So you want to be very careful of doing stuff like that. Making sure you have someone to defend you. So on B generally, you're going to have an anchor playing with you towards halls, and then you're going to be playing over here. That's usually how I play. And a lot of the time, you're going to be doing darts that reveal people when they come out. So darts over here, darts over here. Darts on the floor, I think, are really quite powerful over here as well, because usually the floor darts are harder to shoot. Especially if you're doing just through a smoke. Like the smoke like ends there, and it just goes through the smoke. It's really hard for them to shoot it. And then you should be able to get free kills with that. Same premise with the drone as well. You drone, get a tag, spray them through the smokes. You can do shocks as well. I'm pretty sure there's shocks off this wall that hit numerous places you can think about. Just past the wall. I'm pretty sure you can do default as well, but I usually just like wing it, so I don't really have any like particular lineups or anything. I'm pretty sure you can probably do a double bounce as well off the double wall and go into this corner. That was close. I usually just do it, once again, I'm usually just winging them. I don't have any particular lineups for that stuff. And that's it for B, I think. So yeah, we'll move on to, actually, we do retake, sorry, retake. So retake can actually happen through connector, like through B-Link and through CT for me. But if I do go heaven, then I do this type of recon. Just to like try and get rid of this corner. Maybe get rid of people that might be trying to sit in here. But for the most part, yeah, it's not really that strong of a dart, so you can do one a bit deeper over here like this to kind of see if you can see people long. Usually people can tuck against this one. Unless they're in the open over here, they can tuck against it over here. So it's not really that strong of a recon. And so the best recon is going to be one that you can get into halls. Just be careful you don't get killed while actually getting a recon into halls in some way. Probably just one bounce over here would be really good. And then we've got also drone as well. If you do keep the drone, you can also drone halls. Mainly, honestly, the main thing is to get rid of the halls angle, like to get rid of like all this area. If you can clear this, B retake becomes a bit easier, because this delays a whole lot of time for the B long players to play retake. So if you can get this quite fast, it means that you've got a lot of time to deal with the post plant like problems basically that this B long presents. With the shocks, there's nothing particular with the shocks. Once again, it's about getting people out of angles to either get chip damage or to kill them or to force them out of an angle or something. And you can use ult in post plant sometimes. I wouldn't necessarily always recommend using ult in post plant that much. It really depends on the situation. Otherwise, you can use it to delay the plant, as I've already mentioned on A. You just do it from wherever you are. Just make sure that if you are doing it from this side, if you're doing it from Link, you're not getting flanked from over here. But yeah, generally you want to try and play around the fact you have ult, and then you want to try and go through probably CT because it's going to be a bit safer overall. So next we're going to go over onto attack. Okay, so on attack we'll start with a site, and so on A there are like a couple of things you can do. So there's this dart here, or actually we can do it better than this. So you can actually do a dart like this. You just want to aim at like this corner here on the like the woman's skirt on the top bit, and just full charge. And it should fully detect art. This means that they can't hide in any position around the box. So it means that if anyone's going art, then you're guaranteed going to start. You're guaranteed going to scan anyone trying to be sneaky, which is really, really good. For an A dart as well, for a main dart, you can also do this, which is really good too. You want to be careful as well. One of the main things about this dart is I actually did that wrong. What you want to do is make sure you got it right on the corner, because then people can't go around the pillar and hide in this corner, because then people will get very surprised on your team when the dart's been dodged, right? So you want to make sure you get it right on this corner, because then it will detect right in this corner. Something really, really important about that dart. Otherwise, I don't really have any shocks. I don't really have any drones. A lot of the reasons you'll use shocks on attack are going to be to deal with enemy sentinel util. So if there's a Cypher, it's all about trying to find the right area to shock to get rid of his util. That's basically going to be one of the most important things. With drone as well, it's going to be trying to get as much info as possible going out into sight. I wouldn't try and use it early in the mains unless you really do need it for whatever reason to get the actual main. But I would do this dart instead, generally. There might be a reason why I might not want to do it, but for the most part, I am going to be using this dart and then droning for sight. You can do ult as well. You usually just ult off drone if you really want to ult at this point in the round. Otherwise, you're probably going to be saving it for post plant anyway. But yeah, that's kind of it for that. When it comes to darts for actual sight, there is one you can do over here. I'm pretty sure it's here, and I'm pretty sure you do. I think it's the diamond against this like corner of the wall, and it should land. Yeah, okay, that was right. It lands here, and it doesn't detect like this corner here, but everything else it detects on this site. Actually, it didn't detect this at all. Like this stuff doesn't detect this. Being like super close to this backside bit, so it might not be the greatest. You can do probably one a bit better potentially if you want to. Probably just bounce it off this wall. It's probably the easiest way to do it, like this, and then you detect all the backside. So there you go. Those are some of the recons you can do for attacking A. When it comes to post plant defending A, one of the most important things, if you have ult up, ult is really strong on Sova for post plant to deny the space. You can also swing the ult as well, as we already talked about. You can swing the ult too, just to give people, just make it hard to dodge, usually. And for post plant as well, you can do things like putting a recon through the smoke, or if they are actually good at the game, they'll put a smoke on the bomb, and then you probably want to try and get a recon in the smoke like that. Not like that, but like, yeah, you want to put it in the smoke like that. And then usually you can shock it as well. There's a shock lineup you can do, which is you go to like the second one here, and you aim at like where the curve starts, and I'm pretty sure it's like this. I could be wrong. Yeah, it's right. I also forgot to mention as well, there's a god dart here as well. You can do this on retake, to be fair, but you can also do it on execute as well. I completely forgot about it. But yeah, you can do, I think it's 3 bar 1 bounce like this. And I was aiming, sorry. I was aiming at, I got into this corner and I was aiming at this. There you go.
Scanning ahead.
And it should land in here.
Right here.
Like here. Which is a really strong angle to be, because it detects all of dugout and it also detects backside. It just doesn't detect like this through here, basically. So yeah, that's like my god dart that I really like doing on this site. I don't know how I forgot about it. It's maybe because I know why I forgot about it. But yeah, that was a really important dart that you can use to execute. You can also use it on post plant as well. It's also good on post plant. It's just less good on post plant because it's not really detecting this angle, which is usually where it's planted. But ideally, this open plant over here is usually the one that a lot of people would like to do.
Right here.
Right here. Not right in the corner, because you can plant it around the corner and it can be awkward. But a lot of people like to plant it here. Or like, the open plant here is probably one of the best plants you can get. Because it's open to art as well. So if you have a light flank from art, they're not like cut off and can't shoot this. So if you are the one planting the bomb, this angle is really, really strong to get. Because it's open to everything. So that's it for like the post plant as well. Like in post plant, you're usually not going to have dart. Sorry, not usually going to have drone. And then yeah, you can shock it. Hopefully you get like some good shocks for whatever you've planted. But I've got good default stuff. I don't have much in the way of the open plant, but the open plant is pretty easy to play around because of how open it actually is. So you don't really need lineups for it massively. Next we'll talk about mid. The dart for art is the one I've already showed. Is this one. And then I don't really have a dart for this unless I want to do this one, which is fine. Which is you want to do a double bounce, and I'm aiming like basically this line is like the center of this, and I'm just going to aim level with the window. I know that sounds really weird, but yeah, there you go. And it's 3 bar, not full charge, and it lands like this. It's a bit slow, so I don't really like this one. Another one you can do as well is this one. You just aim at this corner and tap. That also works as well. I'm pretty sure you can do one as well that's pretty good too. I'm not sure exactly how to line it up, but I think it's like this, yeah. And what it does, it just makes sure it detects this. It detects the corner as well. So I'm not quite sure how to line that one up though. I don't remember. I think it might just be like this corner here, like this thing.
Revealing area.
Yeah, I think it is, yeah. There you go. That's the dart that you can do for there. That one's also quite good. It's quite fast. Detects the corner. Pretty decent. That's it for mid. Otherwise, it's like droning through. Generally, the pathing for this, you don't go into connector. You're going to go over here to hit this corner, but you can also do the drone as well. So the recon as well. The art one as well is very self-explanatory. There's not really like anything crazy you're doing here. You're just detecting everything you possibly can. You get a bit of A-sight there as well. And the shocks, once again, you're going to be using it for getting rid of any potential FIFO util. I'm pretty sure you can probably do a lineup like that for... You could probably actually do it the same lineup, but just bounce it. Oh my god, that took a very weird bounce. Okay, never mind, I guess not. But yeah, you can probably do like one from window. I don't happen to know it, but yeah, there probably is one or two from window that can get a potential trip on this angle here, or alarm bot or whatever. That actually would work for the alarm bot, the one I just threw. That would probably work for alarm bot. Yeah, same with this as well. You do a shock like this, build with an alarm bot here potentially, and the alarm bot is going to get mixed up quite a bit where it can go. So don't be too hopeful about it, because usually people are going to change where it is. But for the most part, it should be in an angle level with this or further this way, because if they put it any deeper this way, it doesn't detect people running this way. So it will be in this front area, so you just got to find the right shock for it. And next we'll go over onto B. So on B, I still use from time to time Angel's recon, which is you basically just aim at like just above the lantern, away from the wall, and you double bounce 3-bar. And it should land like on top of like the elbow part like this, or like it lands here and detects everything like this, or you can do one bounce and it lands up here. It isn't as good if it lands up there, but it also is very slow and very easy to get shot. So it's not the greatest of darts. Usually the free throw darts like this can be just better. Yeah, and that's kind of it for the recons for the most part. I will show a recon up there as well. From here as well, there's also this double shock, which I'm pretty sure is not very well known. So you want to do this corner like this for the hood. And I'm pretty sure that's a 3-bar, like that. And the other one is this corner of the brick, for exactly the same part of the hood, and it's 2-bar. So if we do it both together, it's this and this. As long as you're like decently fast with it, which you should be, it should land pretty much exactly the same time. So next is the drone. Usually droning from here is how it will go, mainly because this corner can be a bit detrimental. So you can check this corner as you go around and check this behind here, and there you go. You can sometimes get away with droning like this, but yeah, for the most part, I usually drone for the start, so I don't really have any like particular pathing there. There's also a fake dart you can do over here as well, like over towards A. This is if you're going like you're faking B and going A. You want to line up the hood with this corner like this, and I think you want a tiny bit to the left of it, to be honest, if I remember correctly, a tiny bit to the left of it, and it should. Oh, I missed. Mistakes happen. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I don't need to be. Oh my god! Yeah, okay. Yeah, it is a tiny bit to the left. There you go. There you go. It's a bit of a pixel perfect one. So yeah, it is quite difficult. You might need to practice it a couple times. But yeah, it should land here, and just detect like people in this corner and things, and just be an overall like meaningful dart for potentially faking B and going A, which is really good. And then I'll talk about this dart. So this dart, it is quite a difficult angle to like sit in, but it is provided that you have control of the sight. And you want to do a double bounce, and you want to aim at like the middle of this line, basically, like towards the right. Or am I doing a shock? Who knows? Actually, no, it's not. It's actually just towards the right of the line, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it is. And it should land here. And you can see it detects like majority of mid-link or B-link. And you can ult on this line. This line is actually a really good line for you to ult in. So you can do that, which I've done a couple times. It's not great, but it is possible to do, and I have got kills doing it, so it is possible. It's just it's like stars need to align for you to actually get that safety. Okay, so now we'll talk about the post plant. So I'm going to talk about this plant the most. There are ones for like the other plants. For this plant, you can do these types of shocks. That works. And then for the rest of them, I don't really have any like particular shocks. I do have a shock for this one, and kind of like one in the middle as well. So all you want to do is aim at this line, top of this line, in this corner, and then it's one bounce, tap. And if you do plant it in the middle like this, then obviously just don't put the bounce on, and then it will hit here. And that is literally like the post plant, really. Honestly, for the shocks, you can do obviously the darts you were doing from behind here as well before are completely fine. Yeah, and obviously you can ult from here as well. Everything's fine. You can also ult from here as well. The main thing here is to just be careful that you can't get flanked. So if you are scared about getting flanked potentially, this is technically a bit safer. It's going to give you a tiny bit more time before this person gets to you. Yeah, so that's pretty much it for the post plant for B and also for the guide. So I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in my next one.